Hello there, welcome back to Crafters TV. My name's Joe. We have got a fabulous craft along lined up for you today. Craft along is all about you guys crafting along with our experts in real time. And it's so much fun. Everyone crafting together. I can't wait to see your finished creations at the end of this show. Now, if you haven't yet got your crafty bits and bobs together, don't worry, it is not too late. I'm going to quickly share with you everything you're going to need for this craft along. And the chances are it's stuff that you've already got knocking around. If you don't have some of this stuff, don't worry, we'll give you an opportunity to place your orders as we go through the show. What you're going to need is the big score and the scoring tool, a 12x12 paper pad. The lovely Debbie is going to be using the lovely lilacs. You've also got the contemporary watercolour that Debbie's going to be using, some lovely lilacs organza ribbon. We've got some acetate here, a large guillotine, the Crafter's Companion tape pen, the all-purpose glue, and an optional butterfly die. Now, I'm sure you could use absolutely any die that you have in your stash. Now, a lot of you either watch these and then craft them immediately after. Lots of you craft along, which is always loads of fun. But don't worry, remember, you can watch this back at any point. So if there's anything you're missing, you want to get your hands on it and then come back to this video at a later date, it's very easy to find them on our website. I'll take you through that as we go through the show. What we're going to quickly share with you is the Ultimate Pro, because the Ultimate Pro really is a fantastic piece of kit that's going to enable you to do all the techniques that you're going to see coming up today. $39.99 if you're in the UK, $69.95 if you are across in the USA, and it really is an amazing tool that's going to do so much, and Debbie's going to talk to us about that more as we go through the show. Now, talking about Debbie, she is here with me. Debbie, how are you today? So glad to get to spend the day with you again here at Crafters TV.
I know, it's lovely. It is day number 2. But yeah, we've got a great day planned. This show, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not going to lie, I feel a little bit nervous though, Joe. This is my first craft along. So if you see the whole quibble and the whole shaking going off, that's why. But I am so looking forward to it, because this is where I kind of started with my crafty journey as well, doing a bit of teaching of crafts too. So it feels like I'm doing a little bit of a one-on-one class with everybody. So I'm really excited. And excited, Joe, that you're going to be crafting along with me as well. I know. So, would you like to see what you're going to be making?
I'd love to see it.
Now, this is a special request from our Sarah, because our Sarah, well, a couple of years back, I did a craft organza, my first craft organza that I did as a craft expert, but teaching lots of things that you can do with the Ultimate Pro, as well as the scoreboards that we have in our range. So, as requested by Sarah, she said, can you repeat that beautiful exploding twisted box that we did in the class? Now, I am going to show you this is exactly what you're going to be able to create and make. Wow. And literally, this is so easy to do. You're going to have an absolute blast making these. These are perfect little gifts for, I mean, I've put a few sweets in mine, Joe.
Delicious.
But you could put something else in there, like a little presents for somebody. If you're one of those people that want to just propose to someone, Joe.
Well,
what a great way,
first,
a little
Debbie.
Proposal box. Hey, that's an offer there, Joe. You didn't take me up on it, did you? But you could do things like that as well. But these are really super easy to make. And honestly, these are going to be a gorgeous gift. Not just for things like gifts for people. You can make and personalise it with photos of your loved ones behind there. I did one for my daughter for her birthday with the dogs. So I had our lovely Millie and Bella that I put in there. I've done one for other people, like my nieces. They've asked me to do for birthdays. I love making them. They're so easy. Now, I am going to say the exploding box is something that you can find tutorials online for anywhere. The twisted one came from one of our lovely design team members, Michelle McCarthy, if you're watching. We did one a couple of years ago for a Christmas one. Oh, so nice. You could make it for Christmas as well. So just by changing up the papers, these are the kind of things that you're going to be able to achieve. Now, this was with one of our Nature's Garden. I think it was the vintage Christmas, if I remember rightly. But this is the kind of thing you can get, and you can see each one looks absolutely stunning, even just by using cardstock, Joe. Look how incredible that looks. Honestly, Joe, they're so easy to do. Now, I promise you, by the end of this craft along, And I'm hoping you'll share your pictures. I mean, I don't know how the show works, Joe, so
Absolutely.
do you share pictures
your
at
first
the
craft
end?
along, Debbie?
Yeah, oh, say that again, Joe.
It's your first craft along, is it?
It's my very first craft along, yes. I'm a little bit on the nervous side, but honestly, we're gonna have a lot of fun, Joe.
We're
really
gonna have a ball.
And I can't wait to show you and start sharing with you
Absolutely.
how we're gonna do this.
Well, a couple more minutes and then we'll get underway. So if I know a few people just gathering the last of their items, what I would say is craft alongs are all about you guys. If there is anything that you missed that you need me to recap, if you needed to speed up, if you need to slow down, then just let me know. I am here. I am your servant for the next 2 hours. You can find me over on Facebook, so Crafters TV if you're over there. If you're across on YouTube, then you need to search for Crafters Companion. Drop into the comments, and our social media superstar, who is Rachel, again for this show, will get your comments and questions over to me. Christine Mahoney is in. We've got loads of people in for this, Debbie. Debbie's here. Sarah, Renee, Alison, Michelle, Katie, Kathy, Monica. June saying is have everything pulled along to craft. If I fall behind, I will save the show anyway and catch up at a later date. Megan says, yay, I'm so excited. Thanks for telling me to make sure I didn't miss this show. No problem at all, Megan. Gillian says, lovely to see us both. Sim is so excited that Debbie's back in the building. Melissa says, the demos and the craft alongs are always incredible. Lots of you very, very excited for this. Now, remember, if you don't have any of these items, it's not too late. You can watch this back whenever you like. Everything that is going to be shown in the show is available pretty much on the show. Pop yourself over to the website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com or .eu, where you'll find absolutely everything you need. Make a note of the date, and then you'll be able to find this show over on our website. Don't forget also it's National Craft Month, so that means that there's going to be a giveaway every single day, which is fabulous. All you need to do is comment, whether you're doing that on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll pick a winner at the end of the day. Have a look at this collection of gorgeousness. Isn't it awesome? An absolute bounty of gorgeous crafty goodies. One person will be winning that. We will be announcing the winner in our 7 p.m. show here in the UK, which is 3 p.m. if you are over on the East Coast. Right, this is the first craft along I've ever done, Debbie. So your first craft along, my first craft along. So I think, judging by the comments, everyone's pretty much ready to go if you are, Debbie.
I am ready to go. So first things first. Now, bearing in mind, you can make this with any 12 by 12 pad. We've got some gorgeous ones, but if you haven't got the items with you already, just choose something that you already have in your crafty stash. Now, I've chosen the lovely Lilacs 12 by 12 paper pad. I'll just turn that there. And I've also got, for my matting and layering, I've chosen, one of my favourite 12 by 12 pads ever we've ever done here, which is this gorgeous contemporary watercolour pad as well. So first things first, Joe, is we're going to start with what we call the base of the card. So to make the base of the card, we need to get our pieces together. Now, all I have done, Joe, from this pad is I have chosen the gorgeous lilacs. I've got a thing about purple, one of my favourite colours. Surprise, surprise. What I've done is I've taken all of those out. Now, in each of these pads, you're getting 6 of those colours. And the lovely thing about these is that they're double-sided as well. So it means when you are making things like construction projects, like boxes like this, you know that you've got that beautiful quality and that beautiful pearlescent sheen running inside and outside the box too. So choose your chosen colour. Now, before you do get started, when you're looking through your paper pad, now I've given you green, Joe. Can you see on Joe's? He's got some beautiful greens on his. Choose something that matches because I think this looks lovely. Now, the reason I've chosen this one is because both sides look beautiful. The pink complements the purple, and obviously you've got this beautiful floral pattern running through there, and that's what I chose for you, Joe. I've given you some green cardstock and you've got some green patterned paper. So that's the first thing out of the way. Next, what you want to do is grab hold of your scoreboard. Now, I am using the larger of our scoreboards, but don't be put off because you can do this with your smaller ones as well. So the only reason I've chosen the large one, the big score, is because it's got all your inches and your centimetres and because it's obviously larger. But like I've said, on the smaller one, this will work just as well. Right, so first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to move the pattern cardstock out to the side for the time being, because that's going to be for matting and layering, and we'll sort that out in a moment. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our first piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. Pop this onto your scoreboard. Now, The scoreboard itself, as you know, is not just a scoreboard, it's a scoreboard and the box maker. What we're looking at today is the scoring. Now, I personally prefer to work in inches. This, again, can be reversed, you know, you can convert this to centimetres. You just need to choose the markings that you want to do with this. Now, for me, is the easiest bit because it's so straightforward, Joe. Take your cardstock, pop it onto your board and butt it up. The butt sounds wrong, that, doesn't it? Put your cardstock to the butt of the board. So you go over to that butt of the board. Now, I'm going to just bring this down slightly so you can see this. What we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that is neat up to that board, and we're going to score at 4 inches and 8 inches. So get your scoring tool and put it into the groove of your 4 inches, Joe, and from top to bottom, score all the way down. Now, I don't know if anybody knows about when you're doing scoring on cardstock. You'll hear people say that you do it on both sides, so you turn it and reverse it. You can do if you want, however, that's because of the fibres. Sometimes they talk about how when you're scoring, about the fibres of the cardstock. I personally just prefer to do it on the one, but there's no right or wrong way. So you're going to score number 4, and you're also going to score at number 8. So that is your 2 first score marks, okay? So we've got 4 and 8. And then what we're going to turn is our cardstock 90 degrees. So you're going to turn it so that you've got your score lines running along here, and you're going to repeat that process at 4 and 8. Joe, I can see you're getting well away with yourself over there. He knows what he's doing. Have you been practising, Joe?
I was a bit heavy-handed. I was a little bit heavy-handed at first. I've gone through it,
Right, lovely, Joe. So you'll see now on your cardstock in front of you, you'll see you've got your quadrants. They're all 4 by 4 inches there. So you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares. Now give this a nice little burnish. So when we say burnish, we mean fold it over using your scoring tool and give a nice burnish as well. And it's these nice crease lines that enable the box to fold really nice as well. And you know, when you're opening it up, it gives the right the right effect where the nice crisp score lines are. There we go. So now you've got all 4. Oh, look at you go, Joe. Absolutely incredible. Now that is your first part of your box done. Now we're going to put this to one side for the time being, because what we're going to do now, just for a second, I want you to grab hold of your large guillotines just for a second, Joe. Now, the next piece you're going to take, this is when we have to do a little bit of cutting and chopping down in size. So you take your next piece of your 12 by 12. Now we need to cut this down to a 10.5 inch square. So this is when you're going to need your large guillotine. So take your large guillotine, little top tip when you're using your large guillotine, Joe, make sure this extendable arm is pulled out totally, pull down its little leg, and then pop that on so that you've got now your 12, and when I say 12 inches, it's actually 13 inches, Joe. It's quite a big guillotine, and it's also as well a great scoreboard to use as well. But what we need to do is cut this down to 10.5 inches. So you're going to take your cardstock, pop it onto your guillotine, go to your 10.5 inches. Look at him go. He's on fire today. My goodness, Joe. Turn it 90 degrees and then do it exactly the same again at 10.5, making sure that your cardstock is nice and squared up to the very top as well. Always important, because sometimes when people say, oh, I've got a wonky guillotine, it's not the wonky guillotine, it's the fact that this hasn't been put up to the top. So just make sure when you're using it that you've got those nice and flush up to the top so that you get that beautiful accurate cut. So we've got our 10.5 by 10.5. Move that to one side, bring your scoreboard back in, and we're going to do it exactly the same on the inches side again. We're going to place this back on again. The card goes up to the left-hand side of the board, and this time what we're going to do is we're going to score at 3.5 inches and 7 inches, and we do exactly the same there, 3.5, top to bottom. Nice couple of score lines on there. Be careful as well. I know some people, and I'll be really honest, Joe, when I first started scoring, I was a little bit on the heavy-handed side.
I ruined my first sheet. I went straight through it, Debbie.
Yeah, so I can understand it's very easy because the nature of how you hold these is that you think you've got to go right into that groove and really pull that down. What you're doing is you're just gently breaking the fibres of the cardstock. We're going to turn that again 90 degrees and we're going to repeat that again. So we have got now 3.5. Joe, have you done yours already?
Maybe.
Well, look at you. I think it might be you leading me on this one, Joe. So again,
they say more haste, less speed. Though,
hey,
Debbie.
listen, you carry on, Joe. You carry on. But again, take that and burnish. Give them a nice crisp burnish, these score lines, so that you've got that nice, neat fold on all four sides. And again, that now is the second piece already. Okay. So what we're going to do, and we're going to do this step by step on each one. So remove your scoreboard again. Now, if you're at home, what you can do is you can do all the measurements first. So you can do all your pieces, cut down to size, and then do the scoring. But what I thought I'd do with this craft along would do each single one individually, and then we'll move on and make that as we go along.
It's lovely to all be doing it together, isn't it?
It is. Now, Joe, take your next piece. So this is going to be your third layer of your box. Bring back your guillotine. So again, making sure that when you've got your guillotine, the legs extended, the arms extended properly as well. Make sure it's pulled right out. And the reason I say this is because when I did do the craftaganza, the few mistakes that were made, and it was so easy, is that the extender leg wasn't pulled out far enough. Do you know what? Producers John is telling me it should have been craftaganza
I feel like
weekend.
I'm at craftaganza here with you, Debbie.
Oh, bless you. A little mini one with the craft along. Now this next third piece is going to be cut down to 9-inch square. So 9 inches. Go back in with your guillotine, take your cardstock, make sure it's flush at the very top of your guillotine. So push that up to the very top, go to that 9 inches, and then hold your guard and slice that down. Do you know, there's nothing more satisfying than that sound of the guillotine. I don't know what it is about it, but there's just something so satisfying. Again, make sure that you've got that piece of cardstock flush up to the top, so you can't see any spaces. It's flush up to the top, and again at 9 inches, cut that down. Take your guillotine, pop that to one side. Save all these pieces as well, Joe. Don't be throwing any of these away, because if you have got your butterfly dies, just keep your scraps. Bring back your scoreboard. So get your scoreboard back up. And again, exactly the same. What we're going to do is we're going to take that up to the flush of that butt of the board there. But this time our score lines are going to be 3 inches and 6 inches on here. So from 3 inches, top to bottom, all the way down. Couple of nice little grooves to break those fibres, and exactly the same again, Joe. So that's how we do that one. We're going to do that 90 degrees turn again, and we're going to do exactly the same where we score at 3 inches and 6 inches. And again, a couple of those little scores just to break those fibres, and again do that burnishing. So you're going to fold it and burnish it on all 4 sides. And you've got that lovely crisp fold. And that is your third layer of your box completed. So that's the third one done. Are you ready for the fourth, Joe?
I'm ready.
Ready and raring. So just pop your scoreboard to one side again. Take your next piece of cardstock. And this one is going to be cut down to 7.5 inch square. So this is your fourth layer of your box, and it's going to measure at 7.5 inches. So it's exactly the same. It's a bit like a rinse and repeat kind of thing.
I actually quite like the fact that it's quite methodical.
Yes, yeah, and I do sometimes deal with that one. So again, 7.5 inches, and exactly the same. It's always worth as well. Do you know sometimes if you've got an uneven surface with your guillotine, sometimes your leg can drop. Now that's because if you've got a wonky side or something like that, and it can make a difference on your cut as well. So just make sure you've got that nice and upright, and then again flush up to the top of the board and cut that down. Don't forget, add on to your spare pieces, because we'll be able to use these for something later on as well. Move your scoreboard out of the way, and for this one, sorry, your guillotine out of the way, bring your scoreboard back up, and again, repeat that same thing where you're taking it up to the flush of the board, and then we're going to do the score lines on this one are 2.5 inches and 5 inches. So again, just take your scoring tool, 2.5 inches top to bottom and 5 inches. And then again, exactly the same that we've been doing all the way along. Take that 90 degrees, and then we're going to do exactly the same. So 2.5 inches and 5 inches. There we go. Now, as well, do you know that you do have a couple of tools on here? You've got that round ball tool, which I prefer to work with, but you do have this one as well. Whatever you feel comfortable with is how you can use that ball tool, but I prefer that one, okay? So exactly the same again, Joe. Nice, burnished, crisp lines. And that one is your 4th layer of your box done, okay? So when we've done, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the last part of the box part, okay? So we're going to take the scoreboard away for, again, a second. We're going to bring back in our guillotine. Now this is when you can tuck your arm away if you don't need it, because we're not going to be using that part at the moment. However, this last piece that we're going to cut down is going to be a 6-inch square. So for this one, take your 6 to the 6 inches, again making sure you've got, and again another little top tip, make sure that that is lined up nice and straight, because if it goes off slightly, it's going to affect your cut again, and we don't want that. So again, keep it nice and flush up to the top, make sure it's nice and straight, and in fact, Debbie's just moved hers, so that was a good way, actually. I did that on a purpose, Joe, I did that on a purpose. You've got to give that a nice clean cut, 6-inch square on both sides. Now, move those pieces to the side and then bring your scoreboard back in, because this is the last part, and this is going to be the smallest layer of your box. It's not quite finished, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But this time, what you're going to do is you're going to score at 2 inches and 4 inches. And again, you repeat that on the 90-degree turn. So you've got 2 and you've got 4. So 2 and 4. And again, lovely burnish, crisp, clean lines. And it just means when you are opening your exploding box, everything folds out beautifully. It comes out, it pops out without, you know, it going a bit stiff. It keeps it nice and supple is the word. Supple I'm looking for. So now what you will have, oh, Joe, look, are you enjoying it, Joe?
I'm absolutely having the best time ever. Honestly, this is the quietest
I've never known you so quiet, Joe. I've never known you so quiet.
I thought it was going to be so much more harder than that.
Nope, no, and now you can see you've got all your layers ready, because we're going to do some more in a moment. However, we have got a little mini box to make, and we've also got a lid to make. But can I have a breather, Joe? Can I just have a little quick swig of water? I'm not used to doing this much talking, Joe, so I just need a quick swig of water.
Such a great teacher though, Debbie. Every little bit of that was very clear and very concise. So it's very, very good. Loads of people chatting away. So many comments, Debbie, here. Dana's loving it. Andrea says, Slow, glad you're showing us how to do this. Sue says, hi everyone, I've never made an exploding box, so I'm really looking forward to this. Karen says, perfect timing. I'm making little exploding diorama boxes featuring dinosaurs for my co-workers' twins. That sounds awesome. Sarah says, these boxes look amazing. I'm at work, but I'm going to make one of these at the weekend. Pamela says that I'm doing quite well. Thank you, Pamela. Leela's said, I'm glad this is being done as a craft, and I love seeing how all the creativity comes together. Chris says that she thinks I'm going to beat Sarah for card of the month, a week. Sorry, I wouldn't get too carried away just yet. Let's see how the next hour or so goes. Rosalind says, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this along with you, Joe. You and I are using the same colour. Andrea says, wow, Debbie is brilliant as a teacher for a craft along. Really clear and structured. She is indeed. Carol says, I love that Joe's crafting along. Shows how easy it is to follow along, and sometimes shows how we all make little mistakes along the way. Go, Joe. Thank you. Little mistakes incoming. Don't you worry about that. Kepi says she's definitely going to save this. Lorraine says it's nice to see someone left-handed crafting, which is a good point of view. Do you score with your right hand or with your left hand?
I score with my right hand.
Right.
Yeah, so I score with my right hand because I am right-handed, so everything I do is scoring with my right hand. Yeah. Are you left-handed, Joe?
Yeah, but I can't remember if I did that with my left hand or my right hand. I can use both. I did it with my left hand, did I? No wonder I went through it at the start then. Yeah, lots of you really excited. Lots of you crafting along with us as well. As I did say, remember, if there's any questions or comments, anything that doesn't make sense or isn't clear, you can let me know. I've got the trusty iPad, so Crafter TV over on Facebook, Crafter's Companion over on YouTube, and we'll pop some questions over. The lovely Rachel is our social media superstar. We were talking about women proposing to men earlier, Debbie, and I was saying how we should just forget about just doing it at Leapship. We should just normalise it. Everyone should do it. And it actually turns out Rachel proposed to her husband. They've been together 11 years now. They've been married 11 years. How fabulous is that?
Oh, that's lovely. I'd never be brave enough though, Joe. I'd never be brave enough. But
you could propose
how
me now
lovely
if
is
you
that?
want.
Do you want me to propose?
I wouldn't want to force your hand, Debbie. I wouldn't want to force your hand, you know.
Oh, bless you. Right, are you ready to move on, Joe?
I think we're ready for the
Shall we
next
move
stage?
on?
Yeah, let's.
Because I want to get everything. The lovely thing about this craft along is at Craftaganza we only had like an hour on each section, so it was a little bit rushed. This is lovely that we've got this time to be able to do this and complete it. So, do you know those scrap pieces that we've got? I want you to bring out one of your largest ones because we're going to make a mini box that goes in the middle. I want you to keep these pieces to one side. That's going to be the outer layer of your box and all the inner parts. So just keep those to one side for a moment. We'll come back to those.
Is it the biggest piece of scrap, Debbie?
I've used the biggest one, so it's the
Awesome.
one that's about 6 by 12 inches.
Brilliant.
Do you know when we did that last 6 by 6?
I've got that one.
So what we're going to do with this one is we need to cut out 2 pieces of cardstock at 4 inches by 4 inches, so 4-inch squares. So get your guillotine back up again, and then what you're going to do is you're going to do exactly the same this time with this one, and you're going to take it to the 4-inch mark, again making sure that your cardstock is really pushed up to the tight end of that board. Makes such a difference, Joe, let me tell you. And then bring that down, and we're going to do exactly the same now with this, where we've turned it 90 degrees, and we're going to cut 2 pieces of cardstock at 4 inches each. So again, now we've got those 2 pieces. This is going to form that box. Now this box is optional. You don't have to do this part, but I quite like this. It's a nice little feature in the middle of there. Now I'll come to doing the scoring. Shall we get this out of the way now, Joe?
Yeah, if you want.
So let's bring back our scoreboards for a moment. Now, obviously, we've got the largest scoreboard here, but I did say that all of these could be done on your smaller one as well, and that's exactly the same. Now, this is the bit that I want to do now so that it stops and avoids any confusion when it comes to the box, because these bits are what we're going to do, what we call a traditional box making with the big score and the score master. They've both got a box lid on this side and a box base where everything is measured to your perfection so that this box lid will fit together with the base. So I'm going to take this to the bottom, and on this one for the box lid we're going to take our scoring tool and we're going to score at 1 inch the whole way round. So for not a little top tip, what I do with this is, I know that this is the box lid side of the base. Sorry, let me just bring that up again for a second. I know that this is the box lid side and my number 1 is up at the top. So what I'm going to do is just push this round, and I'm going to score this all the way around at 1 inch. All 4 sides at 1 inch. And again, the trick is making sure your cardstock is up to the butt of that board so that you get that lovely precise measurement. And again, making sure that you're doing all your burnishing as well. So make sure you've got all those lines nice and burnished. And this will be the box lid. Now, because we're not going to be doing this straight away, grab yourselves a little pencil and pop on an L for the lid so that you know when you come back to it, that's going to be your lid, and this one is going to be your base. Okay?
I've got me Debbie Robinson pen, don't you worry about that.
Now, when we're using the base, we're going to move to the right-hand side of the board with this one, and you can see your measurements here now go from 1 all the way across the bottom there. Let me just show it. So that's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Because I did this side with the lid at 1 inch, this side is going to be 1 inch as well, Joe. So for this one, and if you're not very comfortable with using the board from the bottom up to the top, just pop your tool into that groove one, bring it up to the top, push your cardstock to the right-hand side of your board and bring that down. And it just means that you're getting, I think it just flows better. I know some people struggle with going upwards on scoring boards. So that's just a little top tip. just make it easier, make your life easier. Don't make things complicated. There's no need to make it complicated. Crafting should be nice and easy, nice and stress-free. And I know that there'll be people out there that will empathise with me that sometimes you get your knickers in a right twist and you don't need to because it's just a bit of cardstock. You just make it comfortable to you and work for you. That's all you need to do. Now, I did say on there, just pop a little B. So we've got L for lid and B for base. But that is our little mini box all ready for cutting out in a moment. But we'll just put that to one side, Joe. So again, making sure, and keep these bits separate to make it easy for yourself as well and not so confusing. But what we need to do now, Joe, we've got our exploding box pieces. We need to make a lid for it. So let's take our other piece of cardstock. Now, on this one, I've tried this.
I think I might need another piece of cardstock.
Have you not got enough, Joe?
Well,
have
no,
I not given you enough? What am I like?
I think it was me because I scored through one, so I had to get rid of one. I think that was why.
Right. I'll give you the piece, Joe. Never fear. Debbie's got some to hand ready for you. Right, so what we're going to do is, and I have tried, because this box lid needs to be slightly bigger than 6 inches. It's actually 6 1/8 of an inch. Now, for me, on our guillotines are fabulous, but our guillotines work in inches and centimetres, and it's sometimes a little bit tricky to get that 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to give you a little top tip. Bring your scoreboard back up for a second, Joe. So get your scoreboard.
Can I just say I'm having the most fun ever, Debbie?
Oh, bless you. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Joe, because that's what it's all about. It should all be good fun and really enjoying it. And it's nice that you are. Now, a little top tip to get this measurement for that box lid precise is that we know on our boards we've got an 1/8 of an increment on here. So get your scoring tool and go to, so you can see your number 6. Now, on mine, I've actually got a black line on mine. Obviously, I've got my own name on there as well, to make sure no little fingers take this board. But when we talk about the 1/8 of an increment, if you move on 1 from that number 6, that is your 1/8, so that's your 6 and your 1/8. So on this one, Joe, just take your scoreboard tool, and just score that down. And then turn it again so that you've got this, and this time do exactly the same. 6
so you're
of an 1/8.
flipping it over there, Debbie?
You what, my love?
Just turning it, rotating it, or flipping it over there?
I just turned it over just because it made it a little bit easier for myself, so that I know that this one here, so if I just bring this back for a second, let me just make sure I've got that right. Let me just, oh, Debbie, that's because I'm working on a big one. Hang on a minute. There we go. I've got it right. 6 of an 8, go down. Okay, now I've gone all the way down on that one, but what I did was I just reversed it for a second.
So over and around, perfect.
Yeah, over and round, so that I know I've got a 6 and an 8. Now the bit that I need is this piece here. So this piece here is now the bit that I need. And this is where you'll either use your your scissors, or use your guillotine. I personally prefer my guillotine, so I'm going to just move that off for a second. And it's important that you get this little bit right, because that 6 and 8 makes the difference if it fits over. So bearing in mind, and again, you could use a little pencil just in a little top corner so that you know which is the bit that you need. It's just a little top tips like this. But this time, when you take your piece of paper underneath, what you're going to use is that score line up to the blade. Now, when you look at it on your guillotine, Joe, you'll see that it's just over a 6.
Yep.
Can you see it?
Yep, got that.
Not so perfect, so that you know now when you cut that down and you turn it around, you've got that perfect 6 and an 8. And just make sure on your guillotine part here on your blade that matches perfect. And that gives you precisely 6 and an 1/8 inch square box, okay? Are you all done, Joe? Are you nearly there?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Fabulous. Bring your scoreboard back in. Now, normally, traditionally, you'd think of a lid. I need to go on the lid side of the board and the base and things like that. But we just use it as a scoreboard. So literally just take it up to that left-hand side of the board again. And again, this time, all 4 sides, we're going to score at 1 inch all the way around. Whoops, I'm just dropping my scoreboard too. So again, 1 inch, score down, turn it 90 degrees, inch, score all the way down, and so on, and repeat that till all 4 sides are done. There we go. Now again, making sure you've got those nice crisp burnished lines, Makes such a difference, Joe, especially when it comes to fitting on top of your box, that these are all nice and burnished. And there is the top of our lid for our exploding box done. So that is all of the external part and the inner part in there as well. Right, Joe, so let's just put that all to one side, because the next thing we're going to do is all the cutting. Do you want a breather again?
Should we have a little breather? I think I might need a little breather as well, and a little sip of tea. Sorry, you've lost me there. Loads of you absolutely loving this. Nadia says she proposed to her husband. They've been married 30 years now. That's awesome. V Renee says, I've not done this before because I didn't know it was so easy. This is a great craft along, so thank you, Debbie. Rosalind said, Debbie, your pace is great. I messed up one of the sheets and was able to still catch up after correcting my mistakes. So great pace. Molly Hannah says, I didn't propose. My hubby came home early from work. He never did that and said, let's go to the Justice of the Peace. I'm guessing that means like to the church. There you are, as easy as that. Great camera work from Charlotte, says Alison. Jeffrey says, I'm enjoying watching Joe craft along. He's doing a good job. It could all still go very wrong. Don't you worry about that. Great tips, Debbie. I always have trouble with the measurements, but that was really clear and easy to understand, says Clarden there. So yeah, it is really, really straightforward. Remember, if you don't have any of these tools, you're going to be able to watch this back at any time, and you'll find all of the stuff that you need for this craft along in the Shop the Show section over on our website. So go to the homepage, click Shop the Show, and everything is laid out there for you. It could not be more simple. I'm just thinking about what you said earlier, Debbie, with these. Like, you could have Easter ones, summer ones, wedding ones, birthday ones. It's going to be that thing that you just go to and keep making again and again and again, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so now we've got 3 piles of boxes. We've got our little mini box, we've got our lid, and we've also got all our bits of the exploding box. So for the time being, Joe, move your lids out of the way in your boxes. We're going to come back to the main event, which is this beautiful exploding box. And at the moment, you can see that all these pieces don't quite work to bring that explosion to life. So we're going to start with that very first piece. So take your first piece, Joe. You're going to now need some scissors. And I can't highly recommend our scissors enough.
I've got these ones.
Have you got a pair? I absolutely love mine. I bought a set for my daughters because these are fantastic, not just for fabric, but for card making as well. They're absolutely exquisitely made, titanium blades there as well, absolutely fabulous. Now this part is very, very straightforward, because what we're going to do is we're going to remove each corner. So we're going to remove this corner, we're going to remove this corner, then we're going to do exactly the same with the bottom 2. So this is when your scissors will come in handy, and you are going to take your scissors and you're going to use that score line as a guide, and you're going to take your time with this bit, Joe, because
am I taking the score line away, or am I cutting on the score line?
You're cutting on the score line. So you can see there, can you see that first part cut? I'm then just going to turn that for a second so that I can do this next bit, and you're going to use that score line as your cutting line. And just take your time with this part, okay? So you can see now I have removed that bottom corner. So that is that part done. And then next, I'm going to repeat exactly the same on this other bottom corner here. So this is the bit that's going to stay connected. These are going to stay connected. I just want to remove this one. So again, using the score line as a guide, take your scissors and just, I mean, because the scissors are so beautiful and they do cut like a dream. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who will agree with me on this one, that Leanne and the team, they pulled a blinder when they made these scissors, because they're absolutely beautiful. Really lovely, crisp, clean cut as well. And save these bits. I wouldn't be throwing any of these bits away. Look at you, Joe! My goodness, there's me taking my time and you've cut all 4 out.
I have, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, save those bits as well, because you're going to be able to use them. I can't believe it. Look, I'm telling you, Joe, you're going to be taking over this bit in a minute.
No, not. I'm just waiting for it all to go colossally wrong at any point now, Debbie. Loads of people loving it. Susan says the CC scissors are the best. Aisha loves the scissors. Pamela says as well, Debbie, love the tip about using the scoreboard for the exact 1/8 of an inch measurement. That is going to save me so much hassle. And Debbie says, thanks for providing such helpful tips. This is so useful for beginners. It really is. And if I can do it, I think any one of you can do it. It's fair to say.
Right, Joe, so there we go. That's her first piece. This is going to be actually the main part of the box. This is going to make that main part. So when you bring it up, you can see that you've got that box shape and the exploding part. So all we're going to do now, Joe, and this is, I would say this is the bit that you probably think, oh, goodness me, but it is methodical, but we're going to repeat every single sheet and do one piece at a time. I can't stress it enough. Don't make your life complicated. Do one piece at a time, but we're going to repeat exactly the same. So with the second layer, you're going to take out the top two corners and the bottom two as well. So you end up with like a cross shape is the better way to describe it. So that's all you need to do, Joe. Take your scissors again, use the scissors on the score line as your guide to getting that lovely straightforward cut. Now there are guillotines that are out there that you can stop and start, but I just think, do you know what? As much as they're handy to have, I just prefer this method. It makes it so much easier, and I've yet to fathom a way out to use it on a guillotine without snipping all the way through the panels. And you don't want that. You don't want that. So definitely it's worth investing in a good pair of scissors, and these literally are the best on the market. They're absolutely fabulous.
I've got all three pairs at home, Debbie, and I literally couldn't be without them. I don't know if you're meant to. I put them in the dishwasher as well. I'm not sure if they're meant to go in there, but
put them in the what?
Dishwasher.
Do you know what? I've never.
I don't know if they're allowed.
I don't have a dishwasher, Joe. You know me. You'll often say to me, "Why aren't you using dishwasher, Debbie?" I'm not a dishwasher person.
I'm always trying to get Debbie to use the dishwasher, and she's not having it.
I'm not. No, I prefer the good old. Johnny, you're right there. Old school. I prefer good old fairy liquid. Hands in that tub and clean them yourself. Or put a pair of marigolds on, Johnny. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you want to protect your nails. Now this is the second piece done. So once you've done the second piece, you're then going to take that third piece and you're going to repeat exactly the same, taking all corners out so that you end up with your cross-shaped piece, and then just pop that down. So you can continue to do that, Joe. Now I know this is the bit now we could either stay really quiet or we could just crack on with it, and I know you have to concentrate sometimes, Joe, because it's hard
absolutely.
sometimes.
There's loads of people chatting away. I've nearly done my second smallest one, actually, so I'll just check the comments over there.
You're on fire, Joe. You're on fire.
Joe Scissorhands giving... I mean, guys, you really need to... We really just need to simmer down in the comments, okay? Joe Scissorhands giving Sarah Scissorhands a run for her money there. I do not think so. Susan agreeing that the scissors are the best. As I said, guys, if anyone's got any questions whatsoever, if you need us to repeat anything or speed up or slow down, then absolutely just say in the comments. So you can do that over on Crafters TV on Facebook, or of course across on Crafters Companion on YouTube. And also remember National Craft Month, guys, don't forget. So at the end of our later show, we will be giving away the absolute bounty of fabulous crafting goodies. Someone is going to be winning this lovely lot of crafting goodies. It's an absolute haul of fantastic bits. You've got dies in there, there's stamps, there's a whole host of different things in there. And all you need to do to be with a chance of winning that is just comment in any one of our shows, either in this show or in our later launch party show, and we'll pick that winner at random. Well, I say we will, the lovely social media team will do that for us in that later show, which is awesome. I quite like that it's a little bit repetitive, this, Debbie, as well. It's something you could just lose yourself in, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can't, I mean, do you know what? And this is why I do each stage. And like I said, do you know what you could do, Joe, is you could cut all those sizes to start with, then you could do your scoring, then you could do this bit. But I thought what we'd do for the craft along, especially with it being my first one, is I thought we'd do each stage individually so that you get to grips and come to, because like I said, Joe, this box is probably one of the easiest boxes that you'll ever make. It really is so easy to do. And the actual construction of it as well, putting it together to get that twist, is a lot easier than what people think. It really is. Now, what you'll end up with, Joe, is you'll end up with your pieces. So you can see now we've got our outer layer, the second piece, the third piece, the fourth 4th piece and the 5th piece, all cut and ready now for matting and layering in a moment. But I think what we'll do is we'll construct the smaller boxes and the lids, and we'll get those bits ready and put those to one side. We'll just pop these to one side when you've done that. But every single piece will look exactly the same, but just on a shrunken version, because the sizes, they shrink down into size because each one of those fit in. So again, literally pop that to one side, and I think what we'll do is we'll do the box lid for the exploding box first, and then we'll move on to that smaller box as well.
Before we do that, Debbie, is there any chance, a couple of questions in the comments. Oh, we've got a first-time commenter, Lisa Bird, saying she just found us. How fun is this channel?
Welcome,
it really
Lisa.
is welcome.
Yeah.
Lisa, make sure you click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube as well. You get notified all the time when we're on. A couple of people asked if we could just recap the original measurements, Debbie.
Of
so that
course.
was the measurements of the original card pieces and where we scored them as well, if that's okay.
Right, so, and I'll tell you something, I always have, I mean, I've got plenty of books and I write loads of things down whenever I'm working a new card or a new concept out. But what you need to do is start with your cardstock. You need 12 inches by 12 inches as the first layer. You're going to score that first one at 4 inches and 8 inches on both sides. So I'll just use this as an example. 4 inches, 8 inches, and turn that 90 degrees, 4 inches and 8 inches. That's your first layer, and you cut each 4 corner out. That's the best way to describe it. The second layer of the box, that size is 10.5 inches by 10.5 inches. So that next size then is scored at 3.5 inches and 7 inches. So I hope you've written this down. The next one is 9 inches by 9 inches, and this time the score lines are at 3 inches and 6 inches, 90-degree turn, 3 inches and 6 inches, and you repeat that there. And exactly the same, cut the 4 corners out, and you create that effect where the box there is. The next layer, so that's the 4th layer, is a 7.5 inch by 7.5 inch square, and then the scoring for this one is at 2.5 inches and 5 inches, turn it 90 degrees, 2.5 inches and 5 inches, and again cut out top corners, bottom corners to create again that look. Now the smallest layer is the smallest inside one is 6 by 6, and on that one you're scoring at 2 inches and 4 inches, 90-degree turn, 2 inches and 4 inches. Now that's the outer layer of the box. For the box lid that fits on top of that, you need a 6 1/8 inch square piece of cardstock, scoring an inch all the way around all 4 sides. And that basically is your lid that will fit on top of your box. The optional part, which we're including in today, is the little box that goes in there. So if you are making a little gift for someone, or you want to propose to someone, as I said, or you want to fill it with sweeties or fill it with pennies, whatever your tipple, whatever it is, you can make this optional. You can also have, actually, it doesn't have to be this size. You can make it as tall as long as the box closes. So if you bear in mind that this is 4 inches, you could actually make it quite taller. So if you wanted to put like a little miniature bottle of something nice, you could do. Yeah, definitely. Oh gosh, yeah. But yeah, you could make that taller. But for the small box, this part is the 4 inches by 4 inches, and this is the time that we used it to have the box lid and the box base. So this will actually be a proper working box that sits in the centre. But like I said, you could extend that, Joe. So I hope that covered the whole of the measurements.
I think so.
And the whole of the scores.
And gave everyone a nice little chance to catch up as well, Debbie, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I reckon we're ready to push on if you are.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'll take my last little swig of my water, then I might have to go and grab some more.
I've got some tea.
I completely forgot what it was like to do all this talking. I'm used to just giving it all to you, Joe. That's what I'm used to.
I reckon our Jake will grab you a glass of water.
I'm sure if we ask him nicely, we'll flag him down somewhere. We'll flag him down. Now then, what we're going to do is we're just going to construct this small little box. So taking your box lid in your box base, this is, and if you've never seen us do this before, it is very, very simple to do. I personally, again, use my scissors onto my score line, and I take a snip up to that first score line. I actually take a little bit of a slither out, and I say slither out both sides. I actually trim it off this side as well, Joe. Now this is entirely up to you, so that you can see when you're actually constructing your box, it makes it nice and neat so that you've got no extra overhang if that's the right word, of cardstock coming over the top of your box. It makes it nice and neat when you're actually folding that. And you're going to do this on all 4 sides. So that's the first one done. And we're going to repeat that again. So take a scissors up to that first score line, take a little slither off, and then again, I'm just going to do exactly the same there as well. And I'm going to repeat that on all 4 sides. So again, and this one I'm working on is my box lid, because if you remember, we actually popped on there a little L for the lid. So again, every single one, each side, using your score line as that marker, and then taking your scissors up to that score line just makes it nice and neat. And you're going to repeat that on your base as well, Joe.
When you're cutting these in, can you take too much away, or does it not really matter as long as you keep the score lines there, Debbie?
As long as you keep your score lines, and just be careful not to cut too far up. That's why I always say cut to that first line.
One of mine maybe is a little bit on the short side.
Yeah, just keep that in, keep that in mind.
And we're doing exactly the same on the lid and the base, Debbie,
yeah, absolutely, with both sides. So with your box lid and your box base, you're going to just repeat that, and that's on all 4 sides again. And again, it's just another little tip. I didn't used to do this bit, this taking off of the pieces, and I used to wonder why I got a box that had got maybe a lip, a little bit of an overhang over that top.
Oh, you don't want a wonky box.
Oh, honestly, it used to annoy me. It was actually Jan that said to me, why don't you just take a little slither off? And I'm like, oh yeah, I like it. Makes it nice and neat when you're folding this over. Now to construct this is our base. We're going to use our tape pen for this one, Joe. Have you got a tape pen ready to put those together?
I have got a tape pen.
Cool. So you've got your box lid and you've got your box base. So all I'm going to do is, let me just make sure I've got this nice. There we go. And again, this really is a choice of glues, Joe. It's probably a choice of your glue for this one. I'm just making sure. Have we got an empty one again? Do you know, I knew I should have fetched me all.
No, mine's all right.
Joe, is yours all right? Let me just grab another one.
I think so. It's going to have a very sticky counter over here though.
Listen, do you know, we can wipe it up, we can use stick away, or we can use these amazing wipes that we've got at the back of the counter. But all you're going to do now is construct this together. So give that a nice little seal by just rubbing your finger and your thumb together, and it actually just bonds that glue really well. This is super strong adhesive. Let's not forget, Leanne tested these glues lots and lots of times, 25 times in total before she actually settled on the one that we've got. And this is super strong adhesive. You'll hear us sometimes saying, oh, we're using it for speed and things like that. But what you're also forgetting is that this is a really strong tape pen. And I've been and used some of those. I probably have used some of those 25 that were tested by Leanne that weren't so good. But this is really, really strong. But that little tip there of just literally rubbing the thumb and finger underneath your lid there, it just makes that adhere, it sticks really, really well. I mean, you can see just how well that's stuck together. And that is your box. Oh, now then, that's the box base. I'm thinking, where's my B? There it is. That's my box base. And we're going to repeat that again, Joe, with this one as well. So just take your tape, pop that onto the outer part of those tabs. And again, let's just make sure we've got enough on there.
Good use of the word tabs there, Debbie.
You what, Milo?
Good use of the word tabs there.
Yep. I'm concentrating, Joe, I'm concentrating. It's because I'm so used to saying that other word. But yeah.
Debbie, I've got a box.
Have you got a box? And does it fit perfect, Joe? Let's have a look at your box.
Absolutely perfectly.
Oh, fantastic. That's fantastic. Fabulous. And isn't it perfect for that ring size,
Such a great
Joe?
size. Well, if I need to propose to anyone, I shall have the box ready to go. Who knows how long I'll be waiting.
Now, there you go. My little box and lid fits perfectly together as well. And you can see that little part is all ready. So we're going to pop that to one side, Joe. Now, you have got your box lid, and we need to construct this as well, Joe. But before we do, I think what we'll do is we'll cut all the pattern cardstock. So we're going to move over to your pattern cardstock. So this again, choose wisely what colours work together. But I've chosen, Joe, a lovely set of papers. I hope you like them, Joe. I hope you like them.
So floral.
I've just taken a couple for now. Now, this bit is when you're going to need your guillotine again. So let's move these to one side. and bring your guillotine back in, because this is 12 by 12 as well. Again, it will work on the smaller guillotine too, but sometimes it just makes life a little bit easier. Take one of your pieces of paper, Joe, and then now we're going to make our mats. Now for this first layer, for the first main part of the box, this is optional, but I like my inside and the outside of my first layer to be covered on both sides.
In and out, okay.
In and out, yeah. So for this, we need 8 pieces of this. So this is when you take your 12 by 12, get your guillotine up again. Now, if you remember that the outside layer of this, we know is 4 inches by 4 inches. So we know that to make a perfect matting layer, so to have that little bit of a gap in between, you're going to make it slightly smaller. So it's not going to be 4 by 4 exactly. And again, this is a personal thing. My personal preference is 1/4 inch down. And on our guillotine, Joe, we've got those perfect 1/4 increments already done for you. So you can see me 4 inches. I've just moved down to that next notch, which is 3 3/4 inches. Again, making sure that it's up to the top and on that straight line. You're going to cut yourself a couple of these strips. In fact, I think we need in total, if I remember right, we need 8 pieces, but not 8 pieces of these strips, Joe. We need 8 pieces of this cardstock. So just take yourself down for about 3 of them, 3 of those strips, and then turn that 90 degrees and start cutting so that you've got 3 3/4 inch squares. So that's our number 1, and we want 8 of these. But this is again a personal preference.
Can you cut them all together, or do you cut them separately, Debbie?
You can use, because we've got a really fantastic guillotine here, Joe. I'll take a couple of these strips so that I can show you what I mean by this. Make sure that they are flush together and hold them in place when you're turning it, and make sure that you don't slip of the hand. Make sure you've got them up to the top, and this is two layers, and you've got 2 pieces cut in one go. So yes, you can, Joe, absolutely. And we're going to make sure we've got 8 of those pieces. So I've got 3, 4, 5. And again, just make sure you've got them nice and flush together.
3 and 3/4, isn't it?
You what, love?
3 and 3/4.
3 3/4, yeah. And you will get enough out of that one piece of paper to do the outer and the inner of that box. So you now end up with, and I think I've got 9 now if I remember rightly. Let's just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the number 9 I can move to one side because I don't need that one. So I've got 8 pieces all measured, ready and raring to go to stick together to that base. Just going to put those to one side for the time being, because what we're going to do is we're going to cut all these layers together. Make sure, again, it's just a little top tip, keep them to one side, get your next piece of paper. And for these, I'm going to do the reverse of this so that you can see, because we've got a double-sided paper here, which is beautiful, and they complement each other as well, so I know that they're going to work perfectly for that box. But the next size down that we want, we don't need as many, Joe. We only need 4 pieces, because I'm not going to keep repeating. You could, if you wanted to have a really decorative box, you could do the both panels for each single layer. But for me, personally, this box looks pretty enough just on that one layer. So for the next boxes, the next 4 pieces of the boxes, we're only going to cut 4 pieces of this next measurement. So for that second box, we actually need, and if I just bring this second one in for a second, we now know that this box is 3.5 inches square. So again, bearing in mind when it comes to matting and layering, depending on the personal preference, I'm going down 1/4 inch. So with that in mind, these next 4 pieces are going to be cut at 3.25. And again, our guillotine has got that 3.25 perfectly. So it's 3 and the first line on from there, Joe. And again, all you need to do this time, we're cutting 4 of these pieces. So again, you could cut a couple of strips if you wanted.
3.25, yeah?
3.25, and we need 4 pieces of this. So I'm going to have to cut myself an extra layer because I've only got 3 out of that piece. So I'm going to cut myself another one here at 3.25. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this waste. So this piece here, I'm going to use for the next set of squares because we're going to go back to that pattern side. So you'll end up with 4 pieces of 3.25 inch square. That's going to be for your second layer. So again, keep them together, put them to one side. Going back to this waste piece, we're going to use this one, Joe, for the next one. Now, if I'm going too fast, Joe, just say.
I'm all right. I think
you all
maybe
right,
should we do all these cuts, then
Yeah,
recap
do all these
the
cuts.
measurements,
Yep.
and then we'll have a couple minutes break. Yeah?
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
brilliant. Sounds great.
So that third box, so we've done the second layer, we're going to the third one. We know for this one that this actually is, if I just get me Scott, because I want to make sure I've got this right, we know that this is a 3-inch square. So again, we're going to go cut this down to size by 1/4 inch. So this one, we're going to have 4 pieces at 2 3/4 inch square. So using this piece, again, cut this down, and again, that measurement is there all ready for us. We've got 2 3/4, there you go, cut that down top to bottom, and you've got now 3 pieces out of this one at that measurement, made out of that waste from the previous one. It's all about making sure you get the most out of your cardstock. So I've got 3 pieces on my 4th piece of my 2 3/4 inch square. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and that will be for that third box. Now, if you want to keep it nice and easy, Joe, what you can do is you can put your layers in each of the boxes so that you know
idea, Debbie.
which matches which box part. So those 8 pieces are going to go on that first box. And if I just layer them out here, I don't know if you can see, I've got them all laid out already. I know that those pieces are going to fit perfectly on there. Now, we're going to move on, Joe, to taking that piece, that waste piece again. This time for this next size box, so this is the 4th panel, these need to be, because this one here is a 2 1/2 inch square, so we're going to cut this down to 2 1/4 inch, and we need 4 pieces to match that. So again, using that waste, this time we've got this piece coming out at 2 1/4, which is the next line on from the number 2, and you're going to cut yourself 4 pieces of this using your guillotine. Now, with anything with a guillotine, just make sure this is a super sharp guillotine. Just make sure you take care when you're using it. Don't place your fingers underneath there. But look what you can get out of there, Joe. Out of that piece of waste,
We've got all of them.
We've got all of them. So this is what I'm talking about, making sure that you make the most of all your cardstock. And again, we've got those 4 pieces. Put that to one side, and then we've just got, again, a piece left over, and we can now do this one, which is the smallest part of the box. And this one we know is 2 inch square, so we're going to go down at 1 3/4 inches for our mat and layer. So take your piece again, Joe, and your 1 3/4. If you look at it on your inches here, you've got your 1 inch, you've got your half, and then that one there is 1/4, 3/4. You're going to do exactly the same, and you're going to get your 4 pieces out of this one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And again, there you go, Joe. You've got all your pieces out of that one, and we've still got some left over for other parts as well. So there you got your 4 pieces for your smallest part of your box. Do you want a breather, Joe?
I think maybe if we could just recap the measurements for each one of those mats and
Absolutely.
layers, the different sizes, Debbie, and then I think we'll give everyone a little break after that.
Yep, absolutely. So for your first layer of your box, you're going to cut yourself 8 pieces if you want to decorate both sides of your box, so the inside as well as the outer. And if you think about it, that's the outer part, but also that inner part there on that first layer, you need 8 pieces of that one. And that measurement is 3 3/4 inch square. So 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, 8 pieces. The second part of the box, you only need 4. And when I show you that, Joe, you can see, because you've got this gorgeous cardstock, you don't really need that one patterned on there. And if you are going to personalise this, you can be putting pictures of your loved ones on either side. So technically, you don't really need to put that on there. It just depends on the effect that you want to go for. So for that second layer, you're going to take 4 pieces at 3 1/4 inches. So that's your second one. The third layer is 4 pieces at 2 3/4 inches. So that's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. This next layer of your box is 4 pieces at 2 1/4. And then this last one is 4 pieces at 1 3/4. Okay?
Fantastic.
So I hope that helps.
Brilliant. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do, Debbie. We'll give everyone a little chance to get themselves caught up and all sort of tidied down and ready for the next step. So whilst we do that, let us share with you all the details of Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, our free loyalty club. As a member of the club, you can save up to 20% every time you shop with us. For every £1 you spend, whether it's in one of our stores or on our website, you'll collect 1 loyalty point. The more points you have, the more benefits you'll receive. As a welcome present, we'll give you 20% discount with your very first order. Once you place your first order, you'll be given 250 points straight away, making you a bronze member. This will mean that you'll receive a 5% discount on all of your purchases until the end of the next calendar year, plus priority postage. 500 points takes you up to silver membership, where you'll get 10% discount plus free shipping when you spend over £20. When you get to 750 points, you'll become a gold member, which gets you a whopping 15% discount on every order, and we'll ship them to you completely free, no matter how big or small they are. Spend over £25 and we'll send them to you via our premium next day delivery courier service. When you reach 1500 points, you'll become a platinum member, giving you the same shipping benefits as a gold member, but with the added bonus of a massive 20% discount on all of your purchases. Now on top of that, you'll receive exclusive discounts, sneak peeks of brand new products, special offers and money saving vouchers. You'll have access to an exclusive secret Facebook group to meet like-minded friends, to find out information first and to be inspired by all the Crafty makes. We'll send you a completely free quarterly Digimag direct into your inbox, giving you lots of hints, tips, inspiration, additional offers and some sneaky behind the scenes gossip from the team. So what are you waiting for? Become a member of our club today.
Loads of you absolutely loving this craft along. Sarah Brown, Australia, saying thank you so much. Jarmaine says she thinks that I should give my finished box away. Carol D says, I love a project that burns up a lot of paper, makes all my paper hoarding worthwhile. Jarmaine asks, are there dies that make exploding boxes, or do you have to measure and cut?
We do have on our Crafty Wealth, we've got an exploding box that's got like, I think it's got, has it got the love heart corner? I want to say those love heart corners. I know, look at me, I don't know what I'm doing there. But yeah, we do have some exploding box dies if you want to make life really easy for yourself. And it is an absolutely beautiful set of dies as well. So yeah, well worth having a look. Yeah.
I know we launched them not all that long ago and they did sell out, so I'm not sure if they're back in stock. We'll let you know actually if you do want to go for the dice, then absolutely you can. Well, it seems that everyone's pretty much caught up, Debbie, and ready for the next step if you are.
Excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to just cut a few more little pieces for our box that goes in the middle and also on the box lid. Now there is a little piece of that you'll have left over from your cuts that actually fits perfectly on the top. So talking about that longevity of making your paper go a long way, let me know if you've got it. Because it depends on how you cut your cardstock. I know that sounds really daft, Joe, but do you have a piece left over?
Mine's a bit too big, Debbie.
Don't worry. Take your other piece of cardstock. Don't forget, we've got lots, you know, you've got lots of patterned cardstocks in that beautiful watercolour contemporary. Debbie, get that word right the way around. It's called the Contemporary Watercolour Paper Pad. So just take another sheet. Don't worry too much because what we're just going to do is we're going to cut a piece for the top of our lid because we've got our outer lid. And again, I like to make things match. So we're going to cut ourselves a top and we're also going to cut ourselves 4 panels. And we're going to do exactly the same. Again, though, this piece, you only need to cut on the 4 sides. I don't actually put anything on the top because you could put like a butterfly or something on there. A beautiful, what about a flower forming foam flower on the top of there. But yeah, just cut 4 sides. And I'll tell you why we do that is because you're going to use it to cover over your handle. Now, normally I would use acetate. Debbie went to have a look for some acetate, and I might have to ask producer Johnny to ask our lovely Jake, who's probably somewhere in the back, could he go and find us some acetate? Because I do like the acetate feel to it. But you could use, don't forget you've still got lots and lots of pieces of waste, and you could use that piece as an handle around your box if you wanted to do so, which again, it just depends on the effect that you want to go for. So we'll see if Jake can get hold of it for us, but what we'll do in the meantime is we'll take this piece of cardstock. Now the top of our box, we know was 1/6 inch, And we know that when we've taken an inch off, that leaves us with just over 4 inches on the top. So we know that this piece here can either be 4 inches by 4 inches, or I like a little bit of a border on this one. So I'm going to cut mine down to 3 3/4 inch square. So again, taking your piece of cardstock, you're going to cut that down to 3 3/4 of an inch. And that will go and fit on the top of your box lid there. Can you see that fits nicely? What we're wanting to do, Joe, is cut ourselves 4 panels here. Now, I know that this is an inch thick, and I know as well, to make it match nice and neat and flush, that we're going to make sure that all our pieces, so this piece here we already know is cut to 3 3/4 inches. What we're just going to do now is we're going to just slither off 3 3/4 of an inch. I hope that made sense, Joe.
So what will the measurements be of the new panels
Right,
then,
so
Debbie?
for the panels, 3/4 of an inch. Not an inch, because an inch will be too flush. It'll fit
3/4 of
neatly.
an inch.
So 3/4 of an inch. Now, if you look at can you take a look? Can we go in close there, Charlotte, just for a second? Can you see we've got an inch here, but we don't have an ½ inch on, or the board itself. We know that from this start to this one is an inch in depth. However, I use this guide here, and this guide here, if you take to that end, Joe, is your 3/4.
So where the grid starts,
where
basically?
the grid starts,
cool.
yeah.
That's
your
3/4 of an
3/4
inch. Wonderful.
Yeah, it is. Oh, I have got a glamorous
We've got the most
assistant.
glamorous of assistants in today. It's
She
not Johnny.
is, yes. Which is our lovely Debbie. Are we allowed to tell you that you're here, Debbie?
Yeah, Debbie Fisher's in the building.
Our lovely Debbie
Give us a
Fisher
word, Debbie.
is my glamorous assistant, bringing in some acetate for us, because she's up here for a few days, isn't she, Joe? I believe, is she on tomorrow?
I think so.
Is it tomorrow? So now what you need is 4 pieces.
So how wide are those? How long are those pieces? So they're 3/4 of an inch wide by how long?
So can you see from that same piece of cardstock, if I just bring that here for a second, this was a 3 3/4 inch square. With that waist, I use that waist to then cut these down to 3/4 of an inch. So you know you've got your 3 3/4 depth, height. Height, what's an height? Height. Oh, Joy, we're going so well. I can't think of the word. But you're just going to cut that down to 3 3/4. Sorry, not 3 3/4. 3/4 of an inch. Deary me.
So 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4.
Thank you very much,
Awesome.
Joe. I knew there were a reason you were here to craft along with me today. But you'll end up with 4 pieces that will fit perfectly around that box lid. And that bit, keep with your box lid.
Awesome.
Right. Joe, the small box. Now, the small box is, we know it started life as a 4x4 piece of cardstock, but when you take your inch off either side, it is now a beautiful little 2 inches box. And if you want, just put that onto your guillotine so you can actually see you're actually at 2 inch square box. So when you're using this in mind, again, a personal choice, but for my choice, you're going to take this to 1 3/4 inches.
Oh, I've already got one bit that size.
Yeah, so use some of those scraps again. And again, because this is an inch deep, we're going to take it to 3/4 of an inch. So 1 3/4 by 3/4. And again, using this scoreboard, Joe, makes it really, really easy. We're going to go to that 1 3/4 inch line, and then we're going to turn that, and then take that first grid mark. Where that grid mark starts, it's that perfect measurement. And I'll just bring that in so I can show you. It's the perfect measurement for the side of your box. Absolutely perfectly, it fits there. And you're going to cut yourself 4 pieces of that as well. Now, it is a personal choice. If you want a little bit of a box lid top, you can cut that down. And because it is a 2 inch box, you just cut that down to 1 3/4 inch square. So that again, I always say it's a personal choice. It's how you want to decorate it, Joe. And if you want to add that onto the top, just take yourself a little square piece of scrap and cut that down to 1 3/4, and you'll know that that will fit onto the top of your box perfectly. So again, it's that personal choice, Joe. It's
awesome.
If you want to. Now, before we finish, Joe, my glamorous assistant did bring me some acetate in.
She did.
Now, I do like that see-through handle. I quite like that effect. And it's just to pull your lid off. So for this one, I'm going to measure this at 6 inches. Have you got some acetate, Joe?
Yeah, I've got some as well.
Fantastic. Cut it to 6 inches by 2 inches.
Oh, I've got to try not to lose it now.
Yep. So what you've got now is a piece of acetate, and it's always difficult to see on camera, 6 inches by 2 inches, and that will fit onto the side of your box panel absolutely perfectly, and it fits around. You can just see it there. Can you see that in the reflection? You can see that fits perfectly over there. If you wanted it to just be slightly smaller, cut that down to 1 3/4. It just, again, is a personal choice, but either way, that will look fine over there. So it doesn't matter. It could be 2 inches or 1 3/4. Again, it's just a personal choice. Now, I'm going to put all those bits to one side because this is the best bit now, Joe. We've done all this measuring. We've done all the scoring. And what we're going to do now is put it all together.
Oh,
do you need a breather? Because what I want you to do to make it nice and clear is clear all your scrap pieces. So while Joe's reading a few comments, I'm going to get mine all cleared up. Bearing in mind, we've kept all these pieces together, so everything is nice and easy and we can find those. But I just want to get rid of all this mess on my desk so we can concentrate on that part. Is that all right, Joe?
Absolutely. Diana says, clear instruction, taking notes and planning to make later so I can watch back and pause. If you are watching along with us and crafting along with us, then I really hope you're going to send us some pictures as soon as it's finished. Patricia Watling says, what a great craft along. I love how they always go slowly enough, pointing out every little thing, e.g. the 1/4 inch marks on the guillotine so that we don't miss anything. Jennifer saying, great show. I'll be making this box for my daughter. She will love it. Thanks, guys. You are the best. Shirley says, Debbie, I taught at schools for over 30 years, but you are the most able teacher I've ever experienced. You explain clearly, your instructions are delivered with patience, and the added tips you insert along the way are inevitable. You are the ultimate pro, is what Shirley says. How lovely is that?
Oh, that's so lovely. That's really warmed my heart, Shirley. I was trying to do that sign, but I think it was going a bit wrong. I'm not getting it right. But thank you so much. That's really, really kind of you. Thank you.
The heart sign.
I was really nervous about this, Joe. I'm not going to lie. Me craft along. I was really, even though I've taught classes for a long time, and there'll be a group of ladies who I know really well, that a class that I took over from my best friend Linda. I used to do this every week. I used to love doing it. And when I worked at Chesterfield, I used to teach the weekly classes and do lots of classes. So one of my fun parts of my job. But I haven't done it for such a long time. I think that's why we're a bit nervous. So it was lovely. It feels really nice to get back into the swing of things.
Doing a fabulous job, Debbie. Rest assured of that. BA says this is so easy to follow. I'm glad Joe's having a go as well. Debbie is a great teacher. Karen says the paper is pretty and I love that it's double-sided. We'll have to put on my list of things to get. And Katie says, I love Debbie Robinson days. As do I, Katie, as well.
That's really lovely, thank you. Really feeling that love today, thank you very much. Right, so you're ready to get sticky?
I think so.
Let's get a bit sticky. So this again, this is entirely up to you. Now we've got some great offers on glues, just check the website out. But you can either use the wet glue or you can use your tape pens. It's entirely up to you. We have got a fabulous Monday Mega Deal, although it's Tuesday. Whoops.
It will still be there though, till 7 p.m.
Still there. So yeah, you can use this as well. And again, it's just a personal choice. I think I'm going to use mine actually, Joe.
You're going to go
as long as it doesn't run out on me. But what we're going to do for this part is turn your box over. We're going to do each 4 of the outer parts of this box. So again, and it's entirely up to... Have I picked the one up that's not... I have. I picked the one. I'm going to put that in the bin.
I'm going to do the wet glue, Debbie. Just I think it'll give me just a little bit more wiggle room.
Well, do you know? Funnily enough, Joe, I think I might do that myself.
Really?
Actually, yeah, because you're right. The wet glue, the all-purpose. Now, if you're always wondering about glues, our lovely Jan is coming up this week.
Tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wow, that's come round really quick. She's going to be teaching you all about glues. Now, the lovely thing about about our all-purpose glue is it literally is. It covers all sorts of purposes and surfaces as well. And Jan's going to take you through absolutely everything you need to know about glues. But the one reason, Joe, I think why you've chosen it is that fact that you have got that wiggle time to get this into place. It does dry like cement. When it's on, it's not moving. But it gives you a few minutes to be able to get it into place. So if you make a mistake or when you're looking at it, you think, it's not quite right, you've got that bit of time to manoeuvre it. And another lovely thing about it as well, Joe, is if you do get a bit of seepage, which can happen.
A little bit of seepage. I'm covered in glue.
Yeah, a little bit of seepage. Your glue will come off because, and you roll it up. It's a bit like, I always say it because I can't think of a better word. I probably think gubbins would be the right word, but I call it
gubbins is not the right word.
Well, I call it a glue bogey, Joe, I'm not going to lie. Because it's like a glue bogey, like, you roll it all up because you've got that, it's like rubber, it's like a rubber cement kind of word. And it just rubs away. It's so easy to use.
So we're doing the inside flaps and the outside flaps?
Yes, we are
Awesome.
Indeed. So turn it over because you've got your 8 pieces and you're going to do the same there. Now, I've chosen my floral pattern to be on the first layer, and I'm doing that on both sides. So, but it's entirely up to you. If you want to use this side, it's entirely up to you. You choose what's right for you and what the effect you want.
You do you, hun, as I say.
Exactly, Joe, exactly. Now, again, lovely thing about all-purpose glue, it's super quick to use, super easy to use, and again, if you're not getting those layers right, those mats and layers perfectly right, it gives you that time to get it into place and position it so that it looks absolutely perfect. So that's our first layer done, Joe. Now, the reason I haven't put any on the inside is because the twisted element of the other boxes are going to go in there. Now, again, it's a personal choice. If you want your box to be fully decorated, you absolutely can. And exactly the same at the bottom. But again, for me, I personally prefer that method. Now, take your second layer, Joe, and on your 4 pieces, you're just going to put it on the inside. But this is when I'm going to turn it over because I'm going to have an alternating pattern on all 4 sides so that my second layer will not be the same. But again, Joe, it's a personal choice. If
that's
you
a nice
want
idea.
Your box to be all the same, that's exactly up to you. It's entirely up to you. It really is. So again, let's pop this in, all 4 pieces. There we go. And the same applies to every single layer of your box. You're going to repeat that.
But we're only doing the inside panels this time, are we?
We are doing the inside
panels.
Now, if you were going to cut these out, you probably need a bit, well, you will need more cardstock. There's no two ways about it. You can decorate the outside as well if you want, Joe. But like I said, personally, it depends on how you're going to decorate this as well. If you're going to be using personal pictures of loved ones, don't waste your paper, don't waste your cardstock, because you can use those layers for something else. And again, getting that longevity out of your cardstock, as in a little goes a long way, you can start to do that, Joe. So as you can see now, my second layer was this one. I'm moving back to my patterned one. So I'd love to see how you're doing, Joe. How are you going with yours?
I think I'm doing all right. A little bit of seepage, but nothing to worry about on the first one.
Literally, if you've got a bit of seepage, Joe, just give it a little rub. And rub it until it all... Oh, Joe!
So that's the first one.
Oh, my gosh! Oh, loving the choice of colours there.
I'm going to go back to this one here now. I've got a lot of glue, though. I don't know if I'm sticking things to the card or I'm sticking the card to the desk at this rate.
So, can I tell you a little top tip there with the glue? Because this does spread. Some of the bottles have got a little spreader on so that you can spread the glue. Some of the latest bottles don't have that. However, a little goes a long way. So don't get too carried away and use masses and masses of it. But you can use...
Yeah, I think I was just putting a little bit close to the edge at the start is what I was doing.
I don't actually go right to the very end of there because when you press down, the glue spreads. So you don't need a lot on. That's why. And you know what, Joe? It's a common mistake that a few people make. You think that you've got to put loads and loads of glue on there, but you don't have to at all. Not at all. And again, the minute you start to put that on there and put the pressure on, the glue spreads around. So yeah, so I think that's probably what you're doing there, Joe, but don't worry. Don't worry, it'll
I think
be
I was
fine.
squeezing at the edge, that's why. Now I've started squeezing it from the middle and then going around the edge.
Yeah.
Because I was getting a big splush at the side. I don't know if a splush is the right word. It's getting a big at the side here.
Bless you. Now then, my last one there, and then I'll have got all my layers, and I'm just making sure I've done all my alternating layers perfectly there. There we go. And again, before you start putting everything together, I would usually say let it dry for a few minutes. It only takes a few minutes for this to dry. Tacky glue, if you're going to use tacky glue, that's again a personal choice. I just prefer all-purpose because of that time that you get to position.
It does give it some
things.
real weight as well, the all-purpose, doesn't it? When it starts to dry.
Yeah, when it dries, it really is quite solid. It is. It's quite solid. But again, if you want to know more about glues, tune in tomorrow. I don't know what time it is. What time did you say?
It's at 3 p.m. in the UK,
3 p.m.
which is 11 a.m. on the East Coast.
Lovely. Now then, when you're done, Joe, you should have all your layers all decorated.
I've got one more little level to do, Debbie, so I'm
Fabulous.
nearly there with you.
Well, if anybody is ready to move on to the next piece, put those to one side again, because what we've got to do is decorate the lid, and we've also got to decorate the small box. So, going back to that lid, Joe,
Yep.
we just need
The
to
big
do
lid.
what we did. Do you know with our scissors? Do you remember when we did the cutting out? So, again, take your scissors up to, and again, if you want a nice neat, just do it on both sides. And it's just a little slither. It's not masses, it's just a tiny little bit out there. This time, though, we don't have to write base or lid because we know that this is the outer part of our box lid. And again, you just do that on all four sides. Now, what we're going to do differently this time with this one is we're actually going to decorate our box first, our box lid first, before we stick it together. And that was another little top tip our Jan gave me. And you'll probably see why in a minute when we come to sticking our little box that we've already made up, because it just makes it a bit easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that patterned cardstock, and again you can choose which you want. If you want it to be contrasting from your outer box, you can choose the other side. I personally like the flowers, so I'm going to use my flowers on the box lid as well as the outside of my box. But just start to decorate your top of your box lid and then pop all your four sides on there as well. How are you going, Joe?
I'm back in the game.
You're back in the game.
Yeah, I'm with ya.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So again, just making sure that all of these pieces are nice and straight before we stick it all together. There we go. And I'm going to do that on all four sides. There we are. I know you're concentrating, Joe, because you've gone really quiet. It's that silence at the other end. I'm so not used to it.
Sorry, Debbie. It's got to quite an intense part of the... yeah, I feel like it's all to play for in this last, in the last few minutes.
Do you know, and I've got so much planned for this show.
I'm keeping an eye on the comments, though, and everyone is following along from what I can tell.
Oh, fantastic. I hope we get to see some pictures.
If we don't get pictures at the end of this show, what we'll do, Debbie, is we'll show them in our launch party show.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
That's what we could do. It's going to take me until launch party to clean this counter at this rate. It is a sticky mess over here. It's a good job Jan doesn't have to work over this side, honestly.
Oh, she'd be fuming.
She'd be savage.
Yeah, she'd be fuming. She's very clean and tidy, Jan. She's probably one of the neatest crafters you will ever meet.
But apparently, her craft room is a mess, apparently.
Do you know that this is the funny thing? Jan's mess to my mess.
Okay.
Two completely different things. I would not dare share a picture of my craft box.
Would you not?
No.
Oh.
No, not until it's done. And do you know what? I blitzed my house. When my daughter moved away, I blitzed my house. The only room I didn't touch was my craft room. Because I knew it would take me 2 weeks to clean that thing. But yeah, Jan's extremely clean crafter. She really is.
We could do it before and after, Debbie, when you get your new craft room sorted.
Do you know, actually, I will do. I will do that. I will divulge. I will share my shame once I've got it nice and neat. Now, what we're going to do, Joe, is we're going to put our box lid together. And the same way that we did with our first box lid, exactly the same. So you're going to put glue on all four tabs here. So again, a choice of... I've picked wrong glue. I'm pretty sure I've picked wrong one up again. Or am I just unblessed with my tape runners today? I honestly, every single time I come here, and it's because Is it everybody? So it's not just me. Do you think somebody's doing it for fun? Do you think someone's playing a bit of a trick
I
on
think
this?
Jake's out at the back, you know, just sticking things together randomly until they move out.
You see, everybody's just used them though because of how strong they actually are. They really are. It is one of our go-to tape pens, that, you know, our choice of glue here at Crafters. Again, what I just tell you to do is give that a nice little burnish, but because you have got all-purpose glue on, I'm just going to say let it dry a little bit before you actually try and do that, because you'll find your panel slipping and sliding everywhere.
Yeah,
because it takes a few minutes.
I might have
for
to
your
go
glue.
back in with a little bit of extra.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
on a bit of
you
a
can-
sliver of paper and just do some of the corners at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. But there you've got your lovely box lid all decorated. And we're just going to do, just to finish all the sticky parts, I'm going to bring back in my box lid for a second,
Awesome.
Joe. Now, you can do this while it's all formed together, but what you're going to do is you're going to put here a choice of glue on one side here and on the opposite end for your acetate. Now, Debbie's put her acetate down. There we go. This bit is why I would prefer to do it this way, Joe. Stick it to the panel, so pop your glue on that end.
Yeah.
Pop your acetate and make sure it doesn't go over the
Oh, I can't
edge
find
of
it.
your
Oh,
box
here it is.
lid. Have you got it?
I thought I couldn't find it for a moment.
And you're going to do that and repeat that on the other side. Now, there is a method behind my madness, as you're probably thinking, why is she putting her acetate on top of the box? But, do you know those panels? My panels are going to cover over the acetate to make it nice and neat. So
Awesome.
that is, my box lid is there ready, but I want to make it super, super strong. So I'm just going to just pull that off for a second. You're just going to now decorate your sides up. So again, choice of glue, you can use your runny glue or your tape pen or red liner tape. If you want to use red liner tape, you could use that as well, Joe. Finger lift tape, if finger lift tape is your choice. My Auntie Jean, God love her, that's all she used to use was finger lift tape. I couldn't convert her. No
Right.
matter how many times I tried, she
I quite like the
always
finger lift
loved
tape.
finger lift tape.
I quite like it.
Finger lift?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still loads of people use it. I think our Craig still uses loads, doesn't he? He likes finger
I've
lift
got
tape.
glue strings everywhere over
Have
here.
you really?
Honestly,
Right,
glue
don't
strings all over
worry,
the show.
don't worry, Joe, because honestly, that is just a little tip for you to remember when you're using your glue, is that you've probably used a little bit too much. You don't
Yeah,
need to
less
use
is
as
more,
much.
maybe.
Less is more, absolutely it is. I'm just going to pop this just onto the top. I'm going to have a decorated top lid this time, Joe. I'm mixing it up a little bit.
I'm leaving my top bare today, I've decided.
Are you leaving it bare?
Because I didn't have time to cut a piece out. Mostly. I mean, that's my choice, my
But
prerogative.
there you go. So little boxes all completed, ready to be filled up on how you want. We've got our box lid, and now, guess what we're going to do, Joe, in a minute? We're going to put it all together. We're going to put it all together. We're going to do that twisty bit.
Okay.
Do you want a couple of minutes, Joe?
Yeah, I think so. I just need to get my breath for a minute. I am knackered, honestly. This is the most I've ever concentrated in 90 minutes, I think. Andrea says, OMG, this box probably doesn't require any chunky glue. Debbie might find a way to use it anyway. No chunky glue whatsoever used in this. Pam sent us in a picture. Thanks to that. We've got that. We'll show that. Heidi says about Jan. I know her craft room wasn't actually messy. Jerry is loving my box. Carol's loving both of the boxes as well. Let's just recap all the details on how you can watch and shop at the same time whilst you just all get yourself caught up. Hi, I'm Joe from Crafters TV, and I'm here to show you how you can grab the best deals and shop whilst you watch during our shows. So the best way to watch us is always on Crafters TV. Head on over to our homepage and go to Crafters TV. You can see all of our shows, offers, and even shop while you watch. Now if you want to get involved and comment along, head over to our Facebook page. Come say hello, ask us some questions, and lol with us. Or you can watch us on YouTube. Simply head to our Crafters Companion YouTube channel. Got a smart TV? You can even AirPlay directly onto your big screen. We're constantly adding new and exciting shows to our schedule, so don't forget to check in. It's never been easier to have us in your living room. It's always fun here at Crafters TV, so come join us as we create every day. Absolutely, we create every single day, which is fantastic. Now, loads of you absolutely loving these. Lots of you crafting along. Some of you just taking notes and will be crafting along later. Once we've put them together, if there's time, I'd love you to send pictures in to us immediately as soon as you get them together. Some of you may have charged ahead and already got them together. That's also brilliant. Send us your pictures, studio@crafterscompanion.co.uk is where you need to send them. Right, Debbie, I think, I don't know if you are as well, I think I'm about ready.
Are you all ready?
I'm ready for the moment.
The moment that we put it all together, and honestly, Joe, it's so easy. Now, there are two ways that you can do this, because you can have it in what I call the traditional way that a pop-out box would explode, which means you keep it all nice and straight. So just for a second, I'll just show you what I mean by that. So I've got all my layers, Joe, and every single layer you could pop into your box. So for this one, I'm just going to ask for our lovely Charlotte just to go overhead so I can show you what I mean by this. So for your box, you could have traditionally where you layer up each layer, where it just means it's an exploding box in the traditional sense of the word, and then you pop your little box in there, right? What we're going to do is we're going to give it that little twist, and by twisting it, we're just going to twist each layer of this box. And this is how you pop this together. Now I'm going to take you through each one of those stages. So I'm going to remove off those pieces.
Can you twist it by too much or too little when you're doing it, Debbie?
Right, so the clue to this one, Joe, is to make sure that when you are twisting it, that the box sides will actually close up together. Because if you go too far, and I'll just show you before I start sticking anything down, if you start to layer up and twist too extreme, when you lift the box up, can you see that the box actually catches? So the idea of this is that it's just a slight twist to start with, to create that explosion, all right? If you go too extreme, it won't fold properly, and you'll end up with it looking really, really rough, and we don't want that at all. Now, there is a couple of ways, again, glue-wise, it's entirely up to you. I would say for this one, to make sure you can, I mean, personally, again, it's a personal choice. I'm going to use, if I've picked the wrong tape pen up one more time, I'm going to swear I'm going to put it in bin. I'm going to put it in bin, Joe. I would say for you, Joe, use your wet glue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've gone tape pen.
No, it's fine. I'm just thinking for you, you could use wet glue.
I just didn't want it to all fall apart when I opened it in a minute.
Just so you can position it. Now, if you want a little top tip, you can actually just fold your box up and place it. Now, what you need to make sure is, you know these score lines here, they're not hanging over. So can you see when you're popping it on? And if you look at it, Joe, before you actually pop it, before you start burnishing it and making sure, just make sure that all four sides come up. All right, and you can see there that that folds perfectly upright. So I've got just a slight angle, but I've made sure that all these pieces are on the inside of that fold. Now, if you find that it's a little bit too over, just lift it up, and this is what I'm saying about if you're using wet glue, it gives you the time to get it into place, because you can start wiggling it. You know, like we were talking about with the wet glue gives you the wiggle time. But if you're unsure, just bring it up. Literally bring that up, and if you know it works, then burnish it, because we know that this is a super strong glue. Give it a nice little burnish. But like I said, if you want to use a runny glue, Joe, pop a little bit of runny glue, and again, less is more. You don't want all that seepage coming out again. But what I'm meaning about that, the fact there is that when you put the next layer on at a twisted angle, and you can see this coming together, the wet glue gives you the time, if you've gone too far, so if you've gone too far over, it means that you can actually get it back into place. It gives you that, it's that wiggle time again. But when you think about it, it's just making sure that each one of those panels is within that score line. How are you going, Joe?
Oh, I think it's coming together.
Oh, look at you. You're getting all excited, I can tell. Now, just to be on the safe side, Joe, each stage, just make sure
that it still closes.
That it still folds up. And when it folds up, you know that you're on the right path, okay? But again, you can see it already coming together. And that's exactly what you're going to do with each layer. Little bit of glue, tape pen, red liner tape, whichever one it is you want. Making sure that this is in the four lines of this one. We're not worrying about the outer ones now. We're working on each panel individually. So as long as it folds within there, and again, you can just make sure by lifting all four panels up, I know that that's absolutely fine. But again, I've got that. Joe, look at yours. It's coming together beautifully. Make sure it all lifts. Does it all lift?
Yeah, it's all lifting.
Fold? Absolutely spot on. And my last panel's going down, and you can see now, if we go overhead again, just so you can see it for a second, you've got that lovely twist. And if you just lift it up, Joe, just to make sure that it folds nice and neatly, you can see that lovely twist in there, and you've got that lovely explosion of a twist. And then lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to attach this box in. Now, it's only the base of the box because you want it to be a workable box so that your lid lifts off. So we're just going to stick that part down. Now this fits perfectly. That's a 2-inch square box in a 2-inch base. So again, just pop that in there. So again, choice of glue, and you can pop it onto the base of there if you want as well. So pop it in. Make sure you've got plenty down. Adhere your base in there or your box straight away. Make sure that your last little fold folds up perfectly so that you know you've got it into place. Pop that down, and then we're going to pop the lid back on. I'm just going to make sure, because I want to twist mine a little bit more with my wet glue. You can see how quick that actually dries. Look at that one, that's not moving anywhere. But again, now we've got our box. Have you got your lid ready, Joe?
Yeah.
Have you got your lid?
I'm done.
Bring your lid up, pop your lid on, hold that all together. So let me just pop that in there for a second, and there you have got your box lid on top of your box. And then the question is, Joe, what are we going to decorate it? So you ready? You can see that lovely box, and then you pop that out, and you've got that beautiful explosion of that twist there. I'm dying to see yours, Joe.
I've got a very sticky counter. It's hard to do the spin, but
yay! Oh, I love it, Joe. That's
look
beautiful.
at that.
That's beautiful.
I absolutely
really is
love
lovely.
it.
How gorgeous is that? It is absolutely
Fantastic.
beautiful. Now, you can use anything to decorate. You could use your ribbon. We've got beautiful organza ribbon. So you could actually pop a little ribbon on there as well on the inside of your box. Add that onto the side of your handle. I've got some butterflies. Joe, I didn't have time to cut you any butterflies. I do apologise.
I'm going to leave my box naked.
So
it's fine.
sorry. Are you leaving a naked
Yeah,
box?
I feel like I've done enough craft for one lifetime today, Debbie. There's more craft than I've done in my entire life.
Do you know what, Joe, though? You've done an absolutely amazing job. I'm going to have my butterfly this time on the top of my handle, just because it's a little floating butterfly in there. But I'm just going to decorate. Do you know what would look lovely? Pictures of your loved ones inside there. But I love butterflies. I don't know about anybody else, but I've got a real love affair with butterflies. Florals, the florals will look gorgeous in here. I'm dying to see. Have we had any pictures yet?
Yeah,
Johnny?
we've got some coming in already, which is fantastic. Jean says, I love the box. I didn't get in on the first. I didn't get in at the start of the show. How can I rewatch? At any point over on our website or on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching this, as soon as the show ends, it'll be available for you to rewatch, and it stays on our website forever. There is a full on-demand service for you over on our website, which is great. What fun Joe is having crafting along with us and making a beautiful box. Love the colours. Debbie's box maybe could be card of the week, creation of the week. Is what people are saying, which is fantastic. It really is. Don't forget, if you've managed to do that along with us in real time, then absolutely get your pictures in. We'd love to see them. We've got about 20 minutes left on this show, which is fantastic. I can't believe, I'm going to need to lay down after this show, Debbie, to be honest, but we've got another fabulous show coming up in a couple of hours' time. We've got a fantastic launch party for you, and we've got the penny sliders back in stock. It's going to be so incredibly busy in that show. You're going to want to make sure you join myself and Debbie for that. That's 7 p.m. here in the UK, which is 3 p.m. East Coast time, which I think is it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Debbie is just putting the very final finishing touches. So I see some ribbon there, Debbie.
I'm going to use some in my ribbon. I'm going to put a little ribbon in the middle of my box as well. You could fill it up with where's me? I'm going to have to get me 3D Collal glue out. It wouldn't be the same.
Knew you'd find an excuse,
it wouldn't be the same without a 3D Collal, bit of 3D Collal glue. I've just popped a couple of little pieces of butterflies in there as well, just to decorate it. But I just want to finish that off with a little bit of that gorgeous organza ribbon, just to get a little bit of extra decoration. But how beautiful does that box look? That lovely explosion, that twisted explosion, looks absolutely incredible. And like I said, as long as it fastens up on all four sides, I mean, I just love these boxes. Do you know, if you were selling things like this, I mean, can you imagine the premium that you could charge for if you were, you know, and especially if you personalise them. Like I said, I've done these many a time for family members where I've personalised them with pictures, but you've got that lovely, lovely, attractive box on the outside, but on the inside is where that beautiful surprise is where you pop that out and you've got that lovely explosion there. You can keep them nice and straight. Like I said, doing it straight would absolutely be fine, but I just think it gives it a little take, a little twist on there. And honestly, do you know what? I'm glad I saw her, because I'd got something else planned for this show. And Sarah just said, Debbie, why didn't you recreate what you did at Crafty Ganza? Because everybody talked about that class. And I'm glad I have, because I've really, really enjoyed it. Not quite how I planned this show to go. I've only got a little bit of time left now to do some other bits. But
about 15
we might have
minutes.
to ask Sarah if we can have another craft along with what else I've got planned for today. But I'm dying to see some pictures, if we've got some pictures.
Yes,
and I
believe.
hope you've enjoyed crafting along with this one, and I hope you've got all those measurements. We'll recap on anything though. If there's anything you want to recap on, do let us know, and I'll do my very best to recap on that.
Absolutely
for you.
excellent. We've got some of those pictures right now, actually, Debbie,
Yay!
ready to have a look at. PPE Pam sent us one in. Oh, I love this one. Sorry, Lynette sent us this one in. Lynette Leonard sent this one in for us. Love that, Debbie.
Oh my, look at them colours. Oh, that's beautiful. I absolutely love that. That's gorgeous.
Val Lloyd's been very busy as well.
Oh, I see. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. I love that. Is that papers there? Oh, let's have a look.
PPE Pam did this on the Craft House not so long ago.
With the gingerbread men. Oh my goodness, I love that. That's beautiful. Absolutely
Really awesome.
beautiful.
Some of you still sending them in as well. We'll show them. We'll show them before the end of the show, which is fantastic. Great craft along, Debbie and Joe. You've given me the confidence to try this. Jean says, Joe, you're such a good sport, and Debbie, love watching your box. You are such a delight to watch. Anne says, I've been hiding my crafty light under a barrel for a while, apparently. I mean, look. It looks great from where you're standing, right? But it's not going to be there. You know, it's not. You're not going to use this for months and months like it's Debbie's. And it's, you know, it's a little bit rough around the edges, is all I'll say. Okay. But I am super chuffed, absolutely super chuffed. Apparently it has to go on. Maybe we'll have a little bit more, just a bit of cosmetic work on it before it goes on the shelf. I want to remind you of a couple of great items that we've got on the show. So the Ultimate Pro and the Embossing Board Collection, $39.99 or $69.95. It is the ultimate product, really. It is an iconic product. You can do so much with it. If you are a paper crafter, you want to be doing boxes and envelopes and, you know, even making ribbons, and it's a paper trimmer as well. There's so much it can do. If you're starting out in papercraft or you know someone that is, it really is the ultimate tool to get them started on their journey. Something else I need to tell you about as well is the Envelobox Creator, which is this one just here, and it's going to allow you to create all of those different envelope boxes. So if you make a lot of concept cards or cards that are just not going to fit that standard size envelope, this is the board that is going to fix that for you. And this, of course, goes onto your Ultimate Pro. It's £12 or $12. So do grab a hold of that one. Right. Could you... June says, hey Joe, you could decorate your box with hairy potatoes. What? Do you get that reference, Debbie?
No, hairy potatoes.
Yeah. Joe, you could decorate your box with hairy potatoes.
Do you think that's a typo, Joe?
Is it a typo? I don't know. June Woodhouse on Facebook. Is that a typo? Dawn says, Joe, no, it was your first craft along, you did so well. Gloria says, hi Joe and Debbie, I really enjoyed making this box. I made a mistake on the measurement, so mine won't twist. I will have to try it again. I was able to make the box without a twist though, so I've loved doing the craft along. How fantastic is that? Now we've got about just over 10 minutes left on this show, Debbie, and I know, I'm not sure how much of what you had planned you can condense into the last 10 minutes.
Well, I had got loads planned with the Ultimate, doing lots of different card blanks and things like that, but I think I'm going to have to speak to Sarah and ask if I can come back and do another craft along with that, because I didn't quite expect it to take as long as it did. However, it was nice that we could start and finish a project together. So I think with the last little bit of time that I've got, I'm going to talk about the Envelope Box Creator, which I absolutely love. This piece of equipment, it's something I do use making your own envelopes, and the thing about the Envelope Box Creator means that you not only can you make your flat envelopes, Joe, you can make envelopes with dimension as well, so thicknesses. So you can do thicknesses of you can do your I'll start again, Joe. You can do
I've just had a bit of an accident on the with the all-purpose glue. It's I thought I'd just stick my flat down a bit harder, or I had a bit of a blockage, and I squeezed very hard, Debbie.
I did notice. I saw your little face. I thought something's gone wrong. I can tell with his face something's gone wrong. But talking about the Envelope Box Creator, you can make flat envelopes. You can make envelope boxes, which means for things like when you're adding extra dimension, we've got some fabulous new spring flower foaming foam. Wait a minute. Spring flowers, foaming foam.
Flower forming foam.
That's the one. We've got some amazing ones coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think it might be next week, actually. I hope I haven't got into trouble for saying that out loud. But added dimension when you want to transport them or gift them to somebody. You need something with a bit of extra depth, and that's when the Envelope Box Creator is going to become your best friend. And it really is a fabulous piece of equipment. All your markings on here, from all your A up to your 0 on here, and there is an instruction booklet in here. Let me just show you this instruction booklet. It talks you through every single stage from the envelope box technique and how to do it, how to measure it, how to use your sizing grids, how to actually cut it as well, which I just think is invaluable, even down to the gluing of your flaps. Look, Joe, I know I weren't making that word up.
Did it say flaps?
It glued the flap. There, I knew I wasn't going mad when I was saying it. But we've got flat envelopes in here. And we've got your centimetres as well as your inches. You've even got the sizes and colour coded so that you know what you can make from an A4 cardstock, what you can make from A3 cardstock 12 by 12, or what you need for your really large pieces. And you can get hold of the large pieces of cardstock. Here at Crafters Compound, we don't go massive. I think we do A3 is the biggest we do. But there's lots of well-known craft stores, not only here in England, but in America too, where you can get, you can get your cardstock even larger, and that's where your colour coding of your yellow box will come into effect. So you can see straight away the kind of how easy this is to use. And again, from your sizing of your grids to the sizes that you need to the grooves that you're going to use, it's all really straightforward. Now, with that said, I think I'm going to make myself. Let me make my. We'll go an inch. We'll go an inch, and I'm going to do a nice easy one, 7 by 7. So I'm going to bring this down for a second, Joe. In fact, I'm going to do 7 by 5. We'll go down here because I've already underlined it here. 7 inches by 5 inches, and it tells me the size of the cardstock that I need. So I know that it's fallen into the blue category here, which if you just look at your sizing here, tells you need 12 by 12 cardstock. Joe, have you got some?
12 by 12?
Have you got somewhere you could do this as well?
Oh, I don't know. No, I'm not sure, but hang on a minute. Let's not get carried away. I'm over here having a lovely rest.
That's it. So that's your craft along finish with, is it, Joe? Yes. Is that what you're telling me? Are you done now? Done and dusted? Absolutely fine. When we go back to that measurement, it tells me that I need cardstock from 12 by 12, and I'm going to use that beautiful pattern cardstock. In fact, actually, do you know what? I'm going to use from that lovely lilacs. Let me grab my lovely lilacs. Let me grab, what colour have I got left in my book? I'll use that gorgeous green.
It's a lovely pad, that one, isn't it?
It's beautiful, that beautiful pearlescent. Bearing in mind, you can use your gorgeous cardstock. Do you know that beautiful watercolour cardstock? Fancy making a beautiful envelope in that. Now, for this one, it tells me the measurements is 10 3/4 inches. So, like we did right back at the beginning, using your guillotine, take it up to that 10 3/4 mark. Make sure all of this is nice and flush up to the line and at the top of of your board and then just cut that down to size, Joe. It really is as straightforward as that. And again, I'm just making sure it's flush up to the top, and it does make a difference. Sometimes when people tell me that their measurements aren't quite right, it's just a simple basic error sometimes of it not being cut properly. And it honestly, Joe, that little top tip, pushing it up to the top, making sure it's in line, just means the world of difference when it comes to using this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this backboard back in, and on here, it just tells me that I need to use a position of 1 and 4, and it also tells me that I've got G and K to use as well, okay? So, when we're doing this one, Joe, excuse me a minute, I'm gone a bit dry, I'm just going to have to take a swig of water for a second.
Not a problem at all. June says, sorry Joe, that's what Leanne calls hedgehogs, apparently, hairy potatoes.
Does she?
What's she like?
She like? I didn't realise that. I've never heard of that before. Have you?
Never heard of that,
hairy
no.
potato for a hedgehog?
No.
Never heard that
Don't
one.
yeah, no.
I might have to ask her about that, why she calls them that. Now then, going back to this, we'll go back to position 1 and 4. So on this side, we're going to use G and K. So we're going to do our G. And again, using your score tool, whether it be the ball tool or whether it be the flat edge, again, choice is entirely up to you. But I've made my marking, I'm in position 1, I've done my G, and then I'm going to do the K as well. And I'm going to take that down to the K. I'm then going to repeat that on the other side. So I'm going to turn that 90 degrees, still in position 1, and I'm going to do my G, and I'm going to do my K. Now then, this part, you're going to turn 90 degrees, but now I need to position it into number 4. So we're going to jump up to the number 4 grid, and we're going to use those same measurements again. So we're going to go G, and we're going to go K.
Awesome.
And exactly the same, turn it the full 90 degrees around there, and back into that position number 4. And again, making sure that you've got that up flush into this will make all the difference, believe you me. And I do know this because I've done it, Joe, I've done it myself. And I've made a mistake, and it's just by simply not having it in the right position, put up flush to that board, and there you go. Now we've got the markings ready for us to do the cutting. Now, for this part, again, everything's all in this booklet, Joe. It's so easy to use, and you're going to take your scissors. Before you do, though, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to do that, what we talked about right back at the beginning with the exploding box. I'm just going to make sure that everything has been burnished really neatly. It makes it easier when you're cutting, it makes it easier when you're folding into position as well. And it really is super straightforward. Honestly, Joe, I couldn't tell you how straightforward it is once you've made these lovely lines crisp, and it makes a massive difference, believe you me.
How much nicer to have a creation in a personalised envelope as well, with
Exactly.
beautiful pattern papers, maybe with an insert in there as well. It's just, it really finishes the whole thing, doesn't it?
It really, really does. Now, Joe, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that line, I'm going to cut up to that first line, and then I'm just going to trim off that first corner, okay? And then I'm going to take out this one, and again I'm just using those score lines as markings, and what that does is it creates that little flap very nice and neatly, and then you've got all these parts, and we're just going to repeat that on all 4 sides. So I'm going to turn it this way, I'm going to bring that up, make sure I've got this the right way around for a second, going to bring that up to that first score line. I'm going to take out that one as well, because it just makes a difference when you are using this and folding these tabs over. And so you can see now that I've got these 2 identical, and it makes a perfect cut. And again, I'm just going to repeat that on all 4 sides.
Brilliant. Lots of people absolutely love these. Loads of people letting me know they're going to be watching this back at a later date as well. Hadassah says, what another brilliant craft along. Thank you so much, Debbie, for this stunning project. Loads of people loving it. Helen Peachy's learned something today. She says she's learned that she needs to clear her craft table before she starts making one of these. That's what she's learned. Do you want to just quickly, are we all right to share
Of course, yeah, I'm just doing a bit of cutting, Joe. All I'm doing is cutting.
Karen Holmes has sent this one in. I love it, Karen. Look at those
Karen.
papers.
I love the colours on that, Karen. That's absolutely stunning. Love that.
Jean Marie Penny has sent this one in to us today as well. That's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful.
Look at Heidi's one with a foam flower.
I did. That is stunning too. I absolutely love that. Oh, that's amazing. Really
Dawn
amazing.
Robin sent this one in, all purple. Look at that one.
Oh, and butterflies too. That's absolutely beautiful. It really, really is.
As you get yours finished as well, send us the pictures, and what we'll do is we'll share. Well, we'll show all those ones again as well, shall we, Johnny? And we'll show any that you send us between now and launch party in that launch party show. We need to say a very happy birthday to the lovely Fred as well in the comments. It's her birthday today, so a big happy birthday to you, Fred, as well.
Right, Joe, I've done all my cutting. Happy birthday. Did you say Fred?
Fred.
Happy birthday, Fred. Yep, absolutely. I've done all my cutting. Everything's all ready. You can see the shape of the envelope coming together. And I say envelope, it's the envelope box. What I've already done is I've put a couple of bits of glue just on here on the sides to make it easier and speed things up a little bit. Because what we're going to do, Joe, is just foam that over, literally pop that down. And when I told you about doing that little burnishing between your fingers, it makes a bit of a difference for your glue to stick down as well, really well. So again, just make sure, and again, you can use a choice of your own glue, whatever it is that you wish to use, but it simply could not be any easier than this, Joe. And I'm telling you, it made my life so much easier. So if I just pop that down, you have got the perfect envelope box, scored perfectly, ready for your 5x7. You can see that the 5x7 card will fit into there, lovely. And what you've got is that perfect depth, so that if you have got something that's got a little bit of dimension onto your card, it fits in there perfectly. Like I said, just one of the best creations we do here at Crafter's Companion. It is a must-have. It's just coming to grips with how to use it. It's very straightforward. I hope that helped a little bit. I know that was only one, well, no, 5x7 in size, but literally you just take your time, have a practice with it, and I'm telling you, you'll never know. You'll wonder how you learn to live without it once you've got it, because I'm telling you, it's just absolutely fabulous. So I hope you've enjoyed, not quite the craft along that I'd planned, but I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Joe, have you enjoyed yourself?
I've absolutely loved it, and I managed to make this beautiful box as well. So really, what is not to love, Debbie? I am absolutely made up with that. I think it's fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. Debbie, you're a superstar, as you always are. Myself and Debbie, of course, will be back again with Launch Party this evening, 7 p.m. here in the UK, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. So make sure you join us all back. We've got a back in stock on those penny sliders. You're not going to want to miss it. Massive thanks again to Debbie, and we'll see you back here in a couple of hours. Take care.